Social Security IRWIs are impairment-related work expenses. And these are expenses that an individual with a disability incurs in addition to what another individual who is not disabled would incur. And these expenses are deducted from the person's countable earnings. So it would enable an individual who may have extra expenses, for example, somebody that has a panic disorder that would require taking a cab to work as opposed to getting on a public bus or a train. The additional expense would be deducted from their income, so if their income is above the SGA, Substantial Gainful Activity limit, the use of IRWIs could bring their income down. So this would enable them to continue to work and to receive their Social Security disability insurance benefits. The Ticket to Work Act was passed in 1999 and signed into law by then President Clinton. And the purpose of it was to give individuals, recipients of Social Security benefits, more opportunities to become productive and return to the workplace. It established several things. One of them was the actual ticket, which enables a recipient to go directly to an agency or an entity to receive employment services, as opposed to just going to the vocational rehabilitation agency. That has not panned out entirely as planned. It needs to be tweaked. There are other programs as well that came out of the Ticket to Work Act. One of them is the elimination of what are called CDRs, continuing disability reviews, for individuals because they return to work. This was something that folks were scared of losing their benefits just because they made a try or an attempt to return to work. Other things that came out of the Ticket to Work, in addition to the Medicaid Buy In, was what's called an expedited reinstatement process. And what the expedited reinstatement process permits is that for a period of 93 months after the end of a trial work period, if an individual is unable to work and becomes disabled, they can seek expedited reinstatement as opposed to going through the whole application process for Social Security benefits, which can take months, and if there are appeals, can take years. While the expedited reinstatement process is going on, the individual can get provisional benefits while it's being considered. And even if they're ultimately denied, they're not going to have to pay those provisional benefits back unless it turned out it was a totally meritless application for benefits. So these sorts of things are giving folks more tools, in addition to the pre-existing work incentives, to take that chance to go out on a limb. And it really is going out on a limb for people that are dependent on their Medicaid benefits and who are living on these Social Security benefits, who are really scared that if they don't succeed in the workplace, that not only are they not going to have a job, but they're not going to have these benefits that they live on, and that they're going to lose their housing, they're not going to be able to get food. It's a very, very frightening prospect. And the purpose of this is to give them a soft landing, to enable them to know that they can go back to work and still receive benefits if they're not successful, and receive benefits while they're transitioning into work, and hopefully at some point be able to work full-time and not need to receive benefits at all.
Basically, I found out my mental illnesses was because I was an alcoholic, and I went through recovery through McPike and through psychiatrists and psychologists. They discovered that I had these mental disabilities. Getting back into the workforce was hard because I just felt that I didn't have it in me to go back to work anymore. But with the help of, job coaches and therapists and everybody, they changed my attitude, and I wanted to go back to work. But then when you went back to work, for every dollar you made, social services took something away from you. So I was getting beaten by, they would deduct my food stamps. It came down to my Medicaid was taken away, and they put me on a different health plan. Then I made like $75 more a month because of my other part-time job, and they took that away, and then I was left with no insurance whatsoever. If I didn't have the Medicaid buy-in, my God, I really don't know what would have happened to me. I wouldn't be able to work because of my income being so low. My psychotropic drugs run over $1,600 a month. My doctor's visits are $75 a visit. My eye doctors, because I have degenerative eye disease in my left eye, runs over $200 a visit. I wouldn't be able to afford that. It's totally impossible. I only make $16,000 a year. And after rent and stuff, who has $1,600 just for your pills? It's totally impossible. I don't know what I would do. I have no idea. So I can definitely take a job where I'm happy and comfortable of working and accomplishing my daily activities with no fear of, am I making enough money to pay for my medicine? Am I making enough money to pay for my next doctor's visit? I can earn something a lot less than a normal person would without a disability because I have that comfort of knowing that I got Medicaid Buy In.
The work I do now is I'm a benefits specialist, and I help people who are on Social Security and SSI, so Supplemental Security Income, and use work incentives to come back to work. And it's really important to me because it's very important for people with disabilities to be as much as part of the community as they can, and being a part of the community is working and being a part of everything, not isolated in your own homes and depending on the small amount of benefits that you get to survive. And if I can show people that they don't have to lose medical coverage or they don't have to lose all of their benefits, and it's not a losing proposition to work, then I've done a good job. Personally, I used work incentives. I was on SSDI because I've been in and out of work, and my husband on SSI, so that we were both receiving checks, and we were both Medicaid eligible, of course. And I've used work incentives to be able to maintain both of our Medicaid eligibilities while I'm working, so that the necessary services like home care, and we get some services through a home-based community service waiver. He gets some supported employment through that because he is minimally employed. But I've been able to use the work incentives, like they're called IRWIs. They're income-related work expenses, because I cannot drive myself. I have my own van, and I've hired a neighbor to drive me to and from work, and I've been able to claim the transportation expense to Social Security Administration, and they've deducted that from my work income to bring me down low enough so that we still receive small SSI checks, which guarantee our Medicaid eligibility. If I could run a banner across the sky tomorrow, it would be, you don't have to be afraid to work. You don't have to worry about your medical coverage. You don't have to worry about any of those things. There are ways to work it out.